Hey everyone, Couch Investor here with another video for you today. In today's video, I'm going to go over and cover NIO stock and the various reasons why I think it's more of a gamble right now than a solid investment. I know a lot of people will disagree with me, so if you have any valid arguments, leave it down in the comments below. I will make sure to answer to all of them. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, maybe now is the time to hit that subscribe button. We're very close to 1,000 subscribers right now. And if you like the video, leave it an early thumbs up as well, as it really helps me out grow my channel and get my videos out there. So without further ado, let's dive into this. All right, so first of all, for all of you that own NIO stock and are NIO believers, there are some positive points in this video as well, so don't worry about that. And again, this isn't a rant towards you, this is a rant towards the way the company is run and their way to the future, and why I think they should improve to make this a solid investment instead of a gamble. So recently NIO stock has been surging from around $6 to I think $14 or so today. So if you have bought that stock at its low, I think beginning of the year was even lower than that, $2, $3, maybe $4. Good gamble, good trade for you. But the main reason, one of the main reasons it has surged recently is because of their deliveries. So NIO delivered 3,740 vehicles in June 2020, representing a strong 179.1% growth year over year. The deliveries consisted of 2,476 ES6 vehicles and 1,264 ES8s. NIO delivered 10,331 vehicles in the second quarter of 2020, representing an increase of 190.8% year over year and an increase of 169.2% quarter over quarter. As of June 30, 2020, cumulative deliveries of the ES8 and the ES6 reached 46,082 vehicles, of which 14,169 vehicles were delivered in 2020. So again, positive point that NIO is delivering more vehicles than we had expected, but don't let it fool you that the percentage year over year looks amazing. It's because that last year it wasn't amazing at all. NIO almost went bankrupt at the end of last year, beginning of this year, if they hadn't got any more funds, which we're going to look at later on. But second reason why there were more deliveries and more orders actually is because, well, that the Chinese government has announced that it will extend state subsidies and tax breaks for new energy vehicles by 2 years until the end of 2022. Originally, the subsidies were to be terminated at the end of this year, but it's been reported that the subsidies could only be granted for locally produced vehicles with a list price of up to 300,000 yuan, around 38.6k euros, and the minimum range for eligible electric cars could be increased from the current 250 to 300 kilometers. However, there is an exemption for pricier vehicles such as the NIO vehicles, which are equipped with standardized swappable batteries, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. So there you have it, one other reason why those deliveries were made and why more and more orders were made as well. Same thing happened with Tesla. Government extended the subsidies, so more people got incentives to buy their Teslas early. Now, next point is, like I said, NIO raised a lot of cash because they needed it. Like I said, they were almost bankrupt because they were burning through their cash pile like crazy. So NIO raised a lot of cash by selling American depository shares on the US market. An offering of 72 million ADS this month raised over $400 million net of fees, obviously. But the first capital raise they did was for $1 billion, raised from investors that included the Chinese city of Hefei.
My name is Jeff. It's Hefei, man.
NIO will have to move to that city. They are now situated in Shanghai, so part of the deal is that NIO moves its headquarters to that city. Obviously, that's also the same location where NIO vehicles are made. We're going to talk about that later because NIO does not make its own vehicles. So this funding should be good for at least a couple of quarters. I would say, I think for a year or so, they should have enough cash. Important to know that Tencent is their second biggest shareholder of the company with around about 15% stake in the company, which is good to know, to see that this company is backed by such a huge conglomerate like Tencent. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, what makes NIO so special? What makes NIO NIO? So NIO grabbed our attention just like Tesla by showing off their EP9, like Tesla did with their Roadster back in the day. Nice supercar, very expensive though, but at least that's one way to grab our attention. Then NIO has a lot of things under their name which doesn't really make sense to me at all, such as NIO Houses or NIO Life. It's a bit like WeWork, where you can come, maybe have a conference or whatever, grab a coffee, sit, read, do some work, whatever. I don't know, or I don't see this working out for NIO. If you want to be a car manufacturer, why are you suddenly building shared spaces? I think this is just a marketing scheme, which doesn't make sense, because that company really needs to save cash to build cars in the future. Then we have NIO's personal assistant in the car called NOMI. It's basically like Siri or Google or Amazon's, I won't say its name because then my tablet will turn on. It's basically that in the car you can ask it to play music, even take a picture. But to me, again, why don't you just talk to your phone? Your phone can play your music, call people, do everything that AI robot can do. It's nice, it's cute, but again, doesn't make sense for me. Then we have, I think for me, the biggest thing for NIO is their charging solution. Basically, you have the general way of charging, like Tesla, plugging in, waiting, car is charged. But NIO decided to add a battery swap system. As you can see right here, it is something Tesla thought about doing, but decided against it because of cost constraint. It is cool, I'm not gonna lie. It's a cool concept and everything. It works. I think they are swapping around. I think they reached almost 500,000 battery swaps, but it's very expensive, and that's one of the reasons why Tesla decided not to go through with that project. And even if they recycle the battery, that would cost even more money afterwards for the whole process of recycling. And to be honest, I would not like to have my car's battery replaced with a recycled battery. I would like to have a new battery or the same battery I had before, so I would just recharge it at a charge station. So with all this out of the way, I think there are many reasons why I'm not buying NIO just yet, but for me the main reason is this one right here. NIO does not make its own cars and is not planning on producing or manufacturing their own cars in the near future. As of now, JAC Motors is producing their cars. NIO has to pay JAC Motors for every car it makes and also cover the state-owned manufacturer losses. That means that NIO is losing tons and tons of money, even if they are selling cars. I think last year, NIO lost $1.2 billion because of this agreement. Obviously, if there is no agreement with JAC Motors, NIO will not be having cars on the market. So as of now, they don't really have a choice. Even with that extra $1 billion raised, I don't see them building a factory in the next 5 to 10 years. Scaling will be a huge problem for NIO, and it's a problem that will probably not be solved anytime soon. Now we're going to look at the graphs real quick, and then I'm going to conclude this video. All right, let's look at this crazy graph real quick. So first of all, I just want to make sure you understand these two lines right here are major support lines, one at $3, the other at $5. Then this blue line right here is, I think for me, a short-term support line at around $8 or so. But as we can see, there are two huge gaps that happened recently in a span of 3 days, one gap of 13% and the other gap of almost 18%, which are huge gaps, especially in such a short term on its way up. The stock right now is major oversold, as you can see right here. I would expect to see maybe today a little green candle, but maybe Friday or even next week, some red candles to maybe fill one of those two gaps right here. In my opinion, that would be much healthier for the stock. As we can see here, the volume has been very, very high in the last couple of days, but we've seen a huge selling day yesterday. Doesn't mean that today is going to be a selling day as well. I think today is going to be maybe a green candle of buying right here. But again, I think even for the most bullish investor in NIO, they would like to see the stock maybe go sideways and maybe fill one of those two gaps, because for the future, if one of those two gaps are filled, it would be much better for the stock. So if you want to open a position, I would suggest maybe $8 or $10 would be a less riskier price to get into instead of $13, $14, maybe even $15. So to conclude, yes, I know NIO was below $2 6 to 7 months ago, so you've 10x'd your investment today, great, but at the same time, they could have gone bankrupt and you would have lost all your investment. As I said before, and as I will keep on saying, NIO right now is a gamble, not an investment. A lot of people will try to justify the reason for buying NIO and believing in it, etc. Great, but let me tell you, NIO is not building their own cars. NIO is not even making cars. They're paying someone to build their cars, and that's already a red flag for me. NIO has raised tons of cash, which would mean that, well, the investors would like to see this cash returned to their pockets. And look, the stock might well reach 60, maybe 50, maybe even $80, as we can see here, in the next 12 months. But again, that doesn't mean that the company is stable. It could mean a couple of things. One, better than expected deliveries like we've seen before, and usually a big FOMO rally for people that see the price of the stock rise and rise and rise, and they would like to make a couple of good trades in the short term. But those are the people that will sell the stock when it falls one day after the other. Those will be the weak hands, and this will make the stock fall even further down. But hey, again, if you like to gamble and take risks, this is certainly a stock to take a risk on, but be prepared to maybe lose a big chunk of your portfolio. So my opinion on this would be, do not invest more than 2% of your portfolio in this company unless you're 100% sure this company is a great success in the next couple of years. But hey, that will be it for this video. I hope you learned something. If you don't agree with me, let me know down in the comments below. I would gladly have a discussion with you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe now's the time to hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, leave it a thumbs up. And as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and see you all in the next video. Bye bye.